guys, we're doing a quick little update here on the Rant Review Pro Wrestling. So I did want to talk about AEW Dynamite from this week on January the 25th, 2023. Of course, this is following the controversy the week before about Warner Brothers Discovery blocking All Elite Wrestling's attempts to have a tribute to Jay Briscoe. Now, the problem with that was I relayed it out. There was a tweet from Jay 10 years ago. People didn't like it. It was a nasty tweet. He apologized, I don't know how many times since then, and it was 10 years ago. Regardless of that, some people or persons inside of Warner Brothers Discovery did not want him to have it happen, or want that to happen for them to have a tribute to that man on their show. The decision apparently was reversed. Tony Khan has put out a statement, said he fought very hard, and apparently he won, because this past week on AEW Dynamite, which was sadly enough would have been Jay Briscoe's birthday, they did do a tribute to him. Had Mark Briscoe his AEW TV debut against Jay Lethal. If this was a very Ring of Honor thing, and it's kind of interesting that say what you will and think what you will about Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor, but imagine if Ring of Honor didn't exist at all and this had happened. At least we got to say goodbye as people who were fans, whether you were a casual fan of Ring of Honor like I was, or you were a hardcore fan of Ring of Honor. You all know the Briscoes. We all have fond memories, especially from the last decade, of the Briscoes. They were part of the wrestling revolution. They were definitely a part of it. And Jay Briscoe, we've said our goodbyes to him. AEW Dynamite said its goodbyes to him. A lot of guys and girls came out on the stage at the end of the show. Mark was emotional. Jay Lethal was very emotional. Sandre Dutt was out of character. I think it was done very classy given the controversy around the situation. But nobody's going to remember the controversy. They're going to remember Jay Briscoe. And who the people or persons in Warner Brothers Discovery who got on their little high horse about this thing, nobody's going to remember you guys either. They're going to remember Jay. That's all I got to say. It may sound like I'm taking a shot, because I am taking a shot, because again, like I said, I know what kind of people, I don't know what happened, but I've seen this happen many times in companies I have worked with and worked for, and I know the kind of people that do this kind of stuff and how it goes down. And if it is that situation, screw those people. I don't like those people. Anyway, moving on. The rest of Dynamite was okay. I will say the last 2 weeks of Dynamite for me have been okay. These are following, though, there was like this 3-week run about 2 weeks ago, and the 2 or 3 Dynamites before that, I thought those shows were hot as hell. The last 2 weeks have been a little bit milder, but that tends to be the way AEW goes, because they book on their seasonal pay-per-views. So about this point in time, things are kind of a little slow, and then they start ramping up as we head into the pay-per-view. And then after the pay-per-view, it gets really, there's a week of things shaking up, and then they go into their next 3-month set of stories. We're working the Danielson MJF thing. That's the big feud and rivalry that's going on right now. I do like the fact that Brian Cage was used to go after a bounty. This is so old school wrestling. Used to do this all the time. Harley Race put a bounty and a hit out on Ric Flair to have guys go and try to break his legs, as kayfabe before Starrcade 83. So this is an old school wrestling tactic. Again, MJF, a great student of the business. Brian Cage played the role wonderfully well, and they really made it look really brutal with their attack on Bryan Danielson's arm. I was a little scared in some of those spots in that match, but overall it was a good storyline match. It wasn't like this epic battle, but it was a good storyline match. Max getting the upper hand on Danielson at the end. Danielson backstage says, he's selling kayfabe the arm injury, but he says he's now going to expose Maxwell Jacob Friedman for the fraud that he is. So that kind of got me curious. It's like, what is he talking about? And how is he going to expose MJF? They've got a month until this pay-per-view. So there's a lot of stuff that they can do heading into the Revolution Iron Man match, which we all know it's going to happen. This is the lead up to that. And let's throw some new wrinkles in it. I want to see what Danielson's got on MJF. The Gunn Club and the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn had this kind of family therapy session. some of it's funny, some of it's not funny, some of it hits, some of it doesn't hit. But this is a long-standing thing with these guys. I always find these guys to be entertaining. Again, some of the comedy works, some of it doesn't. There was one really bad line. It wasn't a bad line, as in not quality. It was a bad line, as in ooh, that kind of hurt. I think it was Colton said to his father, he's like, look, you're ragging on us, but if any of our shortcomings are a reflection on you as a bad father. I was like, ow, that was a good line. That was a good line. But this is all obviously leading to the Acclaim defending the titles against the Ass Boys. I do think that there's a possibility the Ass Boys might win this. Darby Allin and Buddy Murphy, which was a really good, until the ending, they had a really good match. A little overbooked with Ortiz and Sting coming out there and with the House of Black and having a brawl, which seemed kind of pointless. But I would have rather just focused on Buddy and Darby because they were wrestling. I think they can wrestle a lot better matches. I think they were getting used to and comfortable to each other. Again, the ending was a little off, but Darby is just such a fascinating kind of wrestler to watch. And for him to win these matches, it's just, he shouldn't be winning any of this stuff because he's like 120 pounds soaking wet, but the guy is so over and they work his size very, very well. It's a skill thing to do. It's very hard to make it at least somewhat plausible and believable that Darby Allin is beating the guys that he's beating, but they seem to make it work and the fans just are going with it. They're suspending their disbelief. Of course, it's led to the return of the King, Samoa Joe, who we are now going to get a match between those two for the TNT title. I do think Joe's probably going to win the title back. And we are also waiting to see the return of Wardlow. When is he going to show up again? A lot of names that we're waiting to see come back. I think they're waiting for these big returns. Speaking of which, Adam Cole had a video package where he's talking about his eventual return to the ring. Going to see where that's going to wind up at. JungleHook, Hook, and Jungle Boy teaming up against Matt Hardy. And I think this was low-key one of my favorite matches of the night. Matt Hardy and Ethan Page taking on JungleHook. The match was fun. I'm letting this go with JungleHook, and they don't need to do these names all the time, but Jungle Boy and Hook. I want to see the chemistry with them evolve a little bit more. Their tag team chemistry seems to be getting there. I think in a couple weeks they're going to be a really good tag team. They could be a really good tag team. They're going to need some personality though. Again, Jack Perry, not known for being great on the mic, although I do distinctly remember he had a very good promo. I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago. He cut on Christian Cage, which was outstanding, and everybody was like, where did this come from? Jack Perry can cut interviews. I mean, his father was an actor. He can cut promos. We just haven't seen it from him yet. I'm not so sure about Hook. I don't know if Hook can cut a promo, but we're gonna let this evolve. I think that if AEW takes their time with this, JungleHook could be a really big thing going forward in 2023. The women's division is interesting. They've definitely turned Toni Storm and Saraya heel. Britt Baker was injured, so she couldn't do the triple threat. Ruby Soho basically got duped, and there is a bit of a calling out by Saraya and Toni Storm against Ruby Soho. She's like, they're like, yeah, you came from where we came from. We're not AEW originals. We don't care about these AEW originals. So essentially, they're big boying all the AEW originals because, of course, Saraya and Ruby Soho and Toni Storm all came from the big, beautiful WWE, so they're better than all the AEW original cats. So I do think Ruby's probably going to turn heel. There's nothing else for Ruby Soho to do, so you might as well turn her heel and have her team with Saraya and Toni Storm and make a new little trios group out of those 4 women, or those 3 women. And we'll see what goes down with that in the future. Overall, again, I thought it was an okay edition of AEW Dynamite. I thought the matches were okay. I think it was a lot of storyline and a lot of storyline beats were moving forward. Nothing great and nothing really all that terrible. It was just okay. The only really great thing was, and it's for morbid reasons and emotional reasons, was the tribute at the end of the night. That was a great part. I will remember that for quite some time. The tribute to Jay Briscoe by his brother Mark and Jay Lethal. But I want to know what you guys thought about this week's edition of AEW Dynamite. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Until next time, I will see you guys here for more news, rumors, and commentary. We will be reviewing the Royal Rumble this coming Saturday, and I've got some New Japan news that is percolating because some things might be going on. we'll talk about it this weekend. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.